Randy Orton. Look, we can't mess this up again. Kurt Angle retired and it was a tragedy. They gave it to Baron Corbin, and now look at him. In fact, arguably Cena should have been Kurt Angle's last opponent in some people's eyes. But yeah, Cena's on his last run here. Netflix, everybody knows this by now. It's been highly talked about as of recent in the community as to who should be John Cena's last opponent. And obviously I'm on team Randy Orton, like I just said, because they go back. And at this point, honestly, like I don't think Cena needs to put over another young, that's lost its allure. He's did a Jericho at this point, where years back when Jericho was putting everybody over, getting a win over Jericho meant nothing at that point. He's kind of there. Same thing, Miz was kind of in that phase at a point too. But yeah, basically Cena, just give him his good send-off. Give him one of his final stats of either 17 title reigns or Grand Slam, whichever one you want to go for, because he hasn't won the Intercontinental either. So he can either go for that or he can go for 17. I don't think you should go. I don't even think you should go for both. I think that's a bit. I'm dying. I don't think you need to do both. 17 probably makes more sense because that's been anticipated for longer as he started creeping up closer to Ric Flair over the years. But yeah, Cena's career, like he's had one. It's been long. Obviously, he hasn't been active this whole time, but they kept emphasizing the longevity of this guy. So yeah, I think Orton's the only choice. People were saying Austin Theory at one point, but I think he's been, well, actually, no, he already fought Austin and lost to him, so he doesn't need to do that again anyway. But I gotta re-emphasize, you cannot mess this up. Kurt Angle's last opponent, if not John Cena. In fact, my pick was Chad Gable, I believe it was, because they're kind of similar. He could have passed the torch on to him. Chad could have carried on his kind of in-ring style, and then it just would have made more sense. But I don't know why they chose Baron Corbin. Did that news ever come out? Was there any behind the scenes on that? So we can't do that again. Give Cena Orton. Hopefully they have a good match. You just gotta do it. I'm trying my hardest right now to say more good things about John Cena. I'm consistent. I was one of these people that fell off of Cena years ago, and I did not switch up. I understand there's a difference between favorite superstar or wrestler and who you think is like the objective GOAT. I'm fine with people saying like Cena's their favorite wrestler. That makes sense. But when people try and say he's like actually the GOAT, to me, there's no space for that. Like you're putting way too much weight on longevity. If you're at the top of the company during like the worst era of the four, arguably, that are in the runnings, then how is there even room for you to be the GOAT altogether? Like to me, Hogan has to be either 1 or 3. He can't be 2. So if your options, let's do this. I don't know. I can't believe this is turning into this. I was doing so good. Now it's gonna turn, or it's gonna be seen as negative. Dude, okay, let me get this out there. Shh, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be good. Shh. Okay, so if your 4 options are Hogan, Rock, Austin, and Cena, then in my opinion, Hogan has to be either number 1 or number 3. He can't be number 2. If he's number 1, then basically what you're saying is that you recognize his impact into turning pro wrestling into how we know it today. Like he ushered in the new era of like the larger than life characters, flamboyant, over the top comic book character turned real life type shit. So that kind of thing. So I would get that. Now, if you have Hogan as number 3, it's probably because you understand that number 1 and 2 is Rock and Austin in whichever order. And it would be because of the hype and badassness that was the Baditude era? The Baditude era. Because of the hype that was them going head to head in the most badass and fun time to be a wrestling fan, the Attitude Era, giving us all kinds of moments, clips, and history that we can never see again, essentially. Or can't be replicated, really. And not even talking about like bra and panties matches and shit like this. I'm just talking about a lot of the backstage shit or outside of arena shit that you don't typically see as much anymore. Austin with his monster trucks, beer trucks, brawls in supermarkets, all kinds of craziness just happening anywhere. It was just the most fun time. And again, I emphasize this again, it was the only time where the number 1 and 2 pick, I'm using 1 and 2 like really loosely here, because to me, I felt this is the most even it's ever felt between the company number 1 and 2 pick, which is why it's crazy to me when people try and skip Rock on Mount Rushmore. I've said this before, but this is as even as it's ever gotten. So then once you got those 3, then 4th has to go to Cena. Like Cena, you can't, like the Ruthless Aggression era was still good, and that's kind of when I still liked Cena. I didn't fall off Cena. In fact, people try and say it was the PG era where people jumped off of Cena. It was actually before that. ECW One Night Stand, I think it was the 2006 one. Whichever one he went up against RVD. There was already a little bit of anti-Cena like shenanigans happening before that. For me personally, and like a lot of my friends at that time, it was kind of basically when the Marine came out and then they started doing that weird salute and shit. That was like the beginning of when he started to become super one note in character and shit like that. So let's say from like 2006 onwards. So for me, Cena's best years were like 2003 to like end of 5. I liked Thugonomics. I was all about Thug. That theme is better than his time is now. But yeah, shit just got old and then he just never changed, dude. It's like, dude, can you change your character? No, but I can change my t-shirt color. Like shit, check this shit out. Orange, highlighter green, blue, red, It's like, dude. But anyways, I'm hoping this Netflix run of Cena is gonna be hype. Because I don't hate the guy. Like, I've never really hated him as a person, although he was on his fucking Seth Rollins era where he was just crying about The Rock. But yeah, as like an in-ring character, like I could not enjoy him after a certain point. But yeah, no, I hope he gets a good send-off. I hope his Netflix run is good and entertaining at least. That's all I ask for at least. I'm not even asking for him to go heel at this point because that shit, like, that's so far gone. If he was the one to beat Cody, I wouldn't even be mad at that because Cody's just like John Cena in a suit anyway. But yeah, ultimately, I think he should win number 17. But if he is also going to put over another like young up-and-coming talent, then I guess if it was me booking, I'd probably give it to somebody like Braun Breaker. But yeah, the potential for 2025 WWE is looking pretty hype, so I'm pretty excited. Let's see how it goes.
Into his zone right now. Yeah, he has planted himself in the driver's seat. Off the rope reversal. Handspring cutter. Unbelievable. And another brutal attack on Cena. Setting up here, Corey. Right to the jaw. Cena's in trouble. Cena's in trouble. Cover. It's over. Brutality finally comes to an end. Here is your winner. This is the type of victory where you really have to weigh the costs against the benefits. Cena gave this match 110%, as he does in all of his matches. Yeah, but unfortunately, tonight he needed at least 120%.